Good morning, good morning, good morning. How you guys doing? It is Friday. Thank Yah, it's Friday. TYIF. I'm about to say some things that's gonna make a lot of people upset, but that's okay because it won't be the first time. Okay, I want to talk about mental illness and um, the way that society deals with mental illness and a few things. Okay, first of all, I think that a lot of people, it's still very taboo to talk about mental illness, all right? It's very taboo to not only talk about it, but if people won't talk about it, they won't deal with it. They won't intervene when they see somebody who they love who is mentally ill, okay? And because people won't intervene, they see loved ones, they have friends, they have people in their circle, church members, co-workers, etc., who are mentally ill, and they won't intervene, they won't try to help them, or won't offer to assist them in getting help, or just won't intervene, because then you're saying, oh, who are you to judge? So we just leave it alone, and oh, that's none of my business, and we just gonna pray for them, and oh, I'm just gonna be a really good friend to them, and oh, woo, check on your strong friend. You know how we do all the things in the social media world and church world or whatever, and we we won't deal with the issues. And I'm laughing, but it's really not funny, because if we don't look out for our people, and that means to the point, even if necessary, of, hey, you need to get some help. I'm concerned about you. You know, we got friends that'll get us weed every day, all day. And them same friends who laughing in our face and taking us out and giving us, supplying, our weed man, our weed girl. But you don't know they putting stuff in that weed that make your mind all scrambled. And then they be the same ones that be like, oh, just checking on you, friend. Just checking on you, sis. Just checking on you, man. You my ride or die, my you know what I'm talking about. It be those same people. But that's another video for another day. But I want to talk about how we don't like to deal with mental health issues in this country. We all know that mental health services are being drastically cut in this country. And we know why. And I won't get into that either. But, okay, with all of that being the reality right now, we as a society need to look out for one another. We need to be our brother's keeper. We need to be our sister's keeper. And sometimes being our brother's and sister's keeper is just to be blunt. And we need to look them in the eye and say, baby, I love you. But you got some problems. You got some issues. This is your issue. This is your problem. You need to go and get some help. Okay? And if they refuse to get help, and you can't make a grown person get help. I get that. Unless they are declared mentally unstable or unfit to do so. And that's a process. But unfortunately, when you're dealing with somebody who's mentally ill, who won't accept the fact that they're mentally ill and won't get treated properly for their mental illness, you have to wait until something happens. And you have to force them and make them get the help that they need. And a lot of people just aren't strong enough or courageous enough to do that. They won't deal with it. They don't want the idea of having their loved one locked up, whether it's in a mental health institution or whether it's in jail. It's just like this, I can't do that. That is like the worst thing that can happen. No, that's not the worst thing that can happen. The worst thing that can happen is you let them keep roaming free, mentally ill, untreated, unmonitored, a loose cannon on the streets, and they get shot and killed, or somebody stab them to death, or they get beat up, or police pull them over, and the police don't know how to deal with them. Yeah, police should get training. True. Yes, they should be able to deal with mental health crises better. True. But at the end of the day, the firemen and the police officers are not psychologists. They are not social workers. They don't get paid enough money to deal with all these crazy folk. It is up to all of us as a community and a society to look out for one another. I'm not against police reform. I am, on police reform committees. Yes, there is a lot that needs to be reformed in the police departments across the country. But we as a society have a responsibility too. If you know that there's Pookie in your house as crazy as heck, you shouldn't have a gun in the house. Because Pookie is in the house. And Pookie could just have one of his episodes and grab the gun. Because folks who have an episode, they get real smart and cunning. And they'll find the weapons. And then they'll go and just whatever. And then they're a danger to themselves and everybody around them, including you. We want to talk about, I have a right to own a gun. You don't have a right to own a gun if you got somebody mentally ill in your midst, in your household. Nope, you don't. That forfeits that right. Because that person who's in that house is mentally ill, they're not in touch with reality. They don't know when they're really in danger and when they really are not. If you ever had to deal with anybody who's been in a mental health crisis and you have to call the people to say, hey, this person's in trouble, the very first thing they tell you is to get rid of all weapons. Make sure you get rid of all sharp objects, guns, whatever. Why? Because the person who's in the crisis may use that against themselves or you or somebody else. We are our brothers and sisters' keeper. And we need to start looking out for one another. And sometimes, it does mean calling the cops. Oh, I know we don't want to hear that, especially my people. We don't want to hear that. No, the system is this, the system is that. Let me tell you something. The criminal justice system is in place for a reason. You want to know why the criminal justice system is in place? Because there are criminals. How? I don't understand what's so difficult about that. We want to act like now we got this movement going on where the whole world is just wonderful and there are no criminals. They're just mentally ill people. Now, there are criminals who do the things that they do and commit the crimes that they commit because they are mentally ill. But let's call a spade a spade. End of the day, they're criminals. And some criminals do need to be locked up. Some criminals have to be locked up because they're not going to deal with their mental health issues, which is why they committed the crime in the first place. What do you do with that element of people, especially if you shut down not only the mental health hospitals, but now they're shutting down regular hospitals around here. I've never been anywhere where they shut down a hospital. So where else are these mentally ill people supposed to go? You can't even go down Central or Broadway. Mentally health people let loose on the street to self-medicate and deal with their mental health issues the best way they know how. So there's a place for the criminal justice system. It is in place because there are people that, I don't know if you can say they know right from wrong or they don't know right from wrong, but they choose to do the wrong thing. And at the end of the day, if you choose to do the wrong thing and you choose to do the crime, then you need to do the time. The police are not going to come at you, for the most part, they're not going to come at you with lethal force unless they feel threatened. And if you're coming at them with a whole lot of mouth and a whole lot of threats and a whole lot of woo in their face, they're going to defend themselves. My encounter with the police, I learned that was reinforced more than ever for me. Because when they came at me, it was unjust and they were mistaken. And, that was dealt with accordingly. But at the end of the day, had I come to them when they had the guns out at me, had me on the ground, handcuffed me, I could have been all Corinne Gaines and Sandra Bland, and I know my rights, and you wait till I get to you, and wait till I get out of here. I'm gonna have your head, and what are you doing? Shut up! Just shut up. Yes, officer. No, officer. I hear people ask me all the time about, do you carry? Do you carry? No, I don't carry. I don't like guns, number one. And number two, I, as a black female in the United States of America, if I do happen to get pulled over by the police, okay, and I have a weapon on me, that puts me in greater danger. Okay? So no, I'm not going to do that to myself. If I had a weapon, I was walking to work. If I had a weapon on me and I was walking to work and they were looking for somebody who dropped a weapon at the scene of a head-on collision, I would have got shot that day. So that's why one of the reasons why I wrote my book on how a black woman could survive an encounter with the police. First and foremost, sister, shut up. Yes, officer. No, officer. I'm so sorry, officer. Keep your hands where they can see them. Do what they tell you to do. Do not get up in their face. I know that we as sisters, we love to get up in people's face. Now, I won't say we, but sisters love to get up in people's face, and people love that. They love to see a sister get up in somebody's face. There's some white men that love that. That turns them on. But, sister, that's not the time to go Medea. That is not the time to get up in somebody's face, okay, and prove that you that. You know how we do. No, this is the time to be humble and shut up and comply. And then once you get out of that situation and they going about their way, you going about yours, you file a complaint and you go at it that way. Okay? That's, the grace of God and the mercy of God has kept me. That's why I'm still here. But God gave me wisdom in the situation too. The Spirit of the Lord didn't tell me to get up in the dude's face. No. Bark about your rights. No, shut up. That ain't the time to do that. Brothers, they're a little bit more vulnerable. All I can tell you, brothers, be as humble and compliant as you know how to be. And I know it's not in a man to do that. And they will try you. But to the best of your ability, be compliant. Hush up. It ain't the time to assert your rights. It ain't the time to talk about, yeah, we're going to get you. We're going to do this and we're going to do that. No, you're not going to do nothing. Shut up. Shut up, please. And just do what they say to do. You can own them later. You don't have to announce what you're going to do. Well, that's cooning. You know what? Let me tell you something. I'm so tired of these people who be talking about cooning. And the very ones who be talking about cooning ain't never been in a confrontation with a police officer. Okay? They ain't never, ever had to deal with the situation. So they could easily tell you what to do, but they've never been in it. I'm telling you, I've been in it, and I'm telling you how to survive it. But anyway, getting back to what I'm saying. A lot of these confrontations and a lot of the things that happen with the police, if you just shut up and just, even if they're wrong, if they're abusing their authority, it's going to come out in the wash. I promise. The reason why they took Korryn Gaines, the settlement money to Korryn Gaines' family back, I believe it's because they were able to establish a history of rebellion and noncompliance in Korryn Gaines. And they used that. I wasn't in the court, so I don't know what made that judge reverse the settlement decision. But I promise you, because Korryn Gaines was the way she was, that did not help. And I think that she had a settlement before for something else. So they look at that stuff. You know what I'm saying? They look at all that. And people don't want to give up that money. And if they see that oh, they this and they that, they will find a loophole. They will find a reason. They're not trying to give up that money. And I'm not saying it is about the money. I am saying that there are ways that confrontations can be de-escalated. People don't know the art of de-escalation just across the board. It's like people they get a rush on escalating stuff. Nobody wants to de-escalate. Everybody wants to escalate. It's like they're high on escalating issues and arguments and disagreements. And this is not a time to do that. We got to learn the art of de-escalating. We got to learn to keep peace. And especially if we claim to be believers, Ain't no way in the world we should always be wanting to fight. And you know what I mean? Be up in people's face. And I know, like I said, I'm gonna make a lot of people mad, but it won't be the first time. I'm still here. I'm in my right mind, and I could have easily been like dealing with anxiety and fear and this and that and the other, and be paranoid as heck after what I've been through. But I'm not. I just, Yah has kept me. He's healing my mind. Yes, I went to therapy afterwards because I've dealt with some really big issues after that. Yes, I lost a significant amount of weight and I put some back on. Why? Because my exercise regimen was walking 10 miles a day outside. I wasn't walking nowhere after that. So I dealt with some things, and so I'm not against therapy. I'm not against getting some help. I'm trying to encourage people to get the help that you need and get the help that your people need. Make sure that they get the help that they need. Don't let them just roam the streets and smoke weed and laugh and joke about how crazy Pookie is. That stuff is not funny, man. That stuff can turn into a tragedy easy. And then we don't want to deal with it, and the church sure ain't dealing with it. The church just want to just shout and scream and speak in tongues over it. But we're not dealing with the issues, bruh. But we need to. We can't say the system this and the system that, and we're not doing our part. We need to do our part too. If you have somebody in your family who you know is mentally ill, came back from the war and they ain't been right, there's not an indictment against them. That doesn't make them a bad person. Or addiction. Addiction is a big mental health issue. Your brother is addicted to pills. You need to get them some help. Sometimes that help means that they may have to be caught up in the legal system, because most of the time, especially with addicts, they're not trying to deal. They're not ready to deal with their issues. They're not ready to get the help that they need, because they become addicted to dealing with the issues or not dealing with the issues through their addiction. One of the greatest acts of mercy you can do for a person who's mentally ill and or addicted to drugs or alcohol is to lock them up. And we've been taught the exact opposite. And we have this thing where it's a shame. It's like it's forbidden. You're a sellout. I have people. I've had to lock up somebody who's mentally ill in my family, and I have people to this day that won't talk to me, that won't deal with me because they said I was wrong for that. But let me tell you something. He's not out there gang banging. He's not out there selling drugs. And he's getting the help that he needs. And I'm so thankful to y'all for that. But a lot of y'all don't have the courage to do that. Y'all just let y'all people be out here to raise all kind of hell in your house or in your neighborhood or your community. And you expect the police officers to clean up your community when you won't clean up your community. I said it. Do you need me to repeat it? You want the police officers to clean up your neighborhoods and your community, but you won't deal with it. You won't clean up your own community. You won't clean up your own neighborhood. You'll cover for your people, knowing that they selling drugs that's making folk crazy, knowing that they're wreaking havoc in your neighborhoods. So you can't get mad at the police. You don't trust the police. You don't trust yourselves. Do your part. Do your part. Don't let them roam free. When you know that they got issues and they got problems. You know that girl then had 5 babies and she on drugs and you keep letting her have kids. And you know she doing this and doing that and you keep covering up for her. And she still got them kids? You want another Corinne Gaines on your hands? Cameron Gaines' family let her keep having babies and not help and not make her deal with her issues or take her kids from her until she deal with them. This is what we do in our community, and it's time out for that. We wrong for that, peeps. We wrong for that. We gotta clean it up. We got to clean it up. We can't expect you asking somebody else to come clean up your house, but you ain't cleaning up your own house and don't have the money to pay people to do your house, to clean your house. Come on now. You ain't right. That's not right. Right is right and wrong is wrong. I'm gonna leave it alone because I know I didn't touched on something and I didn't hit a nerve, but I know that it's true and it's real. I've seen it happen and I've looked at it and experienced it. You gotta make some hard decisions, people. You gotta make some hard decisions. It's gonna be all right. When you do what's right, God's gonna take care of it. God's gonna make it right. But you gotta make the first step and do what's right. Stop pointing the finger outside of our communities and our neighborhoods and our race. But let's clean up our own mess. I said it and I ain't taking it back. Y'all have a great day. Blessings.